Have you ever felt invisible in a room full of people? Like your voice was there, but no one wanted to hear it. For millions, this is a daily reality. Black bodies have carried the weight of silence for centuries. Chains that are not always visible, but always heavy. Invisible barriers in schools, jobs, and streets. Whispers of doubt in every conversation. Hands turned away when help was needed most. This story is not new, but it's still urgent. It's about pain and resilience. It's about those who lived in shadows and those who still fight to be seen. The story stretches back generations, to fields, to factories, to front lines of battles unseen by many. Parents whisper lessons in worn-out homes, teaching their children how to survive in a world that often refuses to see them as equal. The chains weren't just physical, they were mental, emotional. To endure the lash of history, the sting of daily prejudice, the quiet erasure of voices. But even in the darkest nights, fires burned, songs, stories, dances, acts of defiance and survival. They said, "You are more than what they tell you," and that truth carried through blood, through pain, through hope. This is the strength behind every march, every protest, every cry for justice. It's the heartbeat that refuses to stop, the legacy that whispers to those who come after. Stand tall, speak loud, you matter. In the face of silence, they spoke. In the face of violence, they stood. In the face of despair, they hoped. Like Rosa Parks, who refused to give up her seat, reminding the world that dignity cannot be demanded. It must be claimed. Like Malcolm X, whose voice cut through fear and called for self-respect and power. Like countless others, whose names may never be known, but whose spirit fuels every fight for justice. Their stories ripple through time, carried by those who refuse to forget. In the face of silence, they spoke. In the face of violence, they stood. In the face of despair, they hoped. Like Rosa Parks, who refused to give up her seat, reminding the world that dignity cannot be demanded. It must be claimed. Like Malcolm X, whose voice cut through fear and called for self-respect and power. Like countless others, whose names may never be known, but whose spirit fuels every fight for justice. Their stories ripple through time, carried by those who refuse to forget. Each act of courage, a brick in the wall of change. Each voice raised, a spark lighting the darkness. Each step forward, a promise to those who came before, and to those still searching for light. Today the fight is quieter, but no less fierce. Systems built on old prejudices still shape lives. From schools that underestimate potential, to neighborhoods trapped by economic walls. From courts where justice hesitates, to media that sometimes distorts truth. Racism isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a glance, a silence, a door left closed. It's the weight of countless small moments that add up. But in every quiet moment, resistance grows. In every community gathering, every online post, every whispered story shared with a child, the seeds of change take root. The fight today is not just for survival. It is for dignity, for equality, for a world where silence is no longer the answer. Change is not a distant dream. It begins with a single step, with the courage to speak up, the choice to listen, and the will to act. We all have a role to play, to break the chains of silence, to lift each other up, to build bridges where walls once stood. The journey is long, but every voice matters. Every story shared, every hand extended, every heart open. These are the sparks that light the way. So stand tall, speak loud, remember, you are seen, you are heard, you are not alone. This is our story. This is our fight. This is our hope. Meet Jamal, a young man growing up in a city that often sees him as a statistic. Not a son, not a dreamer, just a number. He wakes each morning to sirens and skepticism, teachers who doubt his potential, police who see threat before humanity. But Jamal holds a secret. In his sketchbook are worlds unimagined, stories he writes to remind himself, I am more than what they see. His art is his rebellion, a brushstroke against invisibility. And then there's Aisha. Her laughter fills the room even when the world tries to silence her. She's a leader in her community, organizing, teaching, healing, facing barriers daily, but breaking them one by one. She believes in change, in power, not given, but taken, and in the strength that comes when voices unite. These stories, fragments of a larger tapestry, threads of pain, hope, struggle, and triumph. They remind us, behind every statistic, there is a human heart beating. Behind every shadow, there is a light fighting to shine. Every day is a battle, not always against fists or guns, but against walls built of prejudice. Like Malik, who fought to get into a college that once turned him away. The countless applications, the dismissive calls, but Malik persisted because he knew his worth. Or Simone, who organized community cleanups in neighborhoods forgotten by the city. Her hands bruised, her spirit unbroken. Every trash bag carried was a statement. We matter. Small victories, yet they build mountains. These moments are the threads that stitch a new future. A future where every child sees possibility, where every voice echoes in halls of power, where justice is not a dream, but a reality. The system is vast and complex. Invisible walls rise high, built by policies, practices, and history. Redlining, unequal education, biased policing. These aren't just headlines. They shape realities. But communities respond, with resilience born from shared struggle, with organizations, leaders, and everyday heroes who refuse to be broken. They build spaces where voices are amplified, where culture thrives, where hope grows. This strength is quiet, often unseen, but it is powerful. The block parties, the church meetings, the protests, the mentorship programs, and the art that tells stories no textbook can. It is the pulse of a community that refuses to fade. Education is more than books and tests. It's a door, or sometimes a wall. For many, schools have been battlegrounds, places where identity was questioned, where potential was underestimated. But education also holds keys to empowerment, to breaking cycles. When culture is embraced, not erased, when stories are told in classrooms and kitchens alike, identity grows stronger. And family, the first community, holds the roots, the values, the dreams. In every family gathering, every tradition passed down, there's resistance. A refusal to forget. A promise to the next generation that they will know who they are, that they will stand proud, that their voices will never be silenced. Today's activists stand on the shoulders of giants. They carry the stories, the pain, and the victories of those before them. With social media as their megaphone and communities united like never before, they challenge injustice head-on. From peaceful protests to policy changes, from education reform to cultural renaissance, the fight for equality is alive and thriving. They remind the world that justice is not optional, that equality is not negotiable, that every voice counts, loud, proud, and unyielding. And they invite everyone to listen, to learn, and to stand together. Throughout history, individuals have risen, voices that could not be ignored, leaders who became symbols of hope and change. From the powerful speeches of Martin Luther King Jr. to the uncompromising activism of Angela Davis, to the youthful energy of modern-day leaders like Amanda Gorman. Each has shaped the narrative, challenged the status quo, and inspired millions to stand for justice. Cultural movements echo their voices, from music that tells stories of struggle and triumph, to art that captures the soul of a people, to literature that preserves memory and sparks conversation. These movements breathe life into the fight. They connect past to present, pain to hope, and they remind us culture is resistance. In every song that echoes through the streets, there's a story of struggle, pain, and hope. Artists like Nina Simone use their voices to demand justice, to expose truth, to heal wounds. Poets and writers capture the heartbeat of communities, transforming personal pain into collective power. Film and theater bring these stories to wider audiences, breaking barriers of silence and ignorance. Every cultural event is a gathering of souls, an act of remembrance and a call to action. They remind us that art is not just entertainment. It is a powerful tool for change. And through creativity, communities reclaim their narrative, their dignity, their future. This is not just a story of pain. It is a story of resilience, of hope, of unbreakable spirit. Together, we rise. Together, we speak. Together, we build. The chains of yesterday will not bind tomorrow. The silence of the past will not drown the future. Every voice matters. Every story counts. And when we stand united, we create a world where justice and equality are not dreams, but reality.